How's it going, everybody? Vanguard Badlands back at it again with another deck profile. This time, I'm bringing you Link Jokers, Deletors for Standard for 2019. Completed the deck. I bought 10 boxes. Ooh, and you wouldn't believe what I have pulled. I was gonna record it, but hot damn, I was too excited. I wanted to open them right now, but I think it was good because we pulled amazingly. Like just polls that you wouldn't believe. But enough of me talking about it. Let me show you what I pulled in this deck profile. Alright, first we're going to get to the grade 3s. And for our first grade 3s that we won run 4 of, that's right. We run 4 Docking Deletor Grion. I think I'm pronouncing his name right. But look at that. Delete Rare. And you can see it turns turquoise, purple, and then pink right there. Damn, and I think it looks amazing when you do that too, because his hands have these electrifying shock wave things going through his hands back and forth, and how it changes colors is pretty awesome. But yeah, we run 4 of him, and if you don't know what his skill is Counterblast 2 during the act phase, delete your opponent's Vanguard. Really good for a first turn ride. Also good against Murakumo, because you actually, delete their Vanguard. So, like, if this card is not a bad ride first turn, even against Murakumo's Zenbaku, because they can just prevent you from riding. You still got this big boy right here. Alright, and his second skill is auto. When this card attack hits a Vanguard, Soul Blast 1, choose one of your opponent's rear guards and bind it face down. I've been play testing this deck against Murakumo, and this deck can hold up on its own. Barely hold up on its own. But, Shiryuki, whoo, still a good card. It prevents from attacks. Like, they just... You deleting their Vanguard don't mean nothing if they have 2 Shiryukis to make them survive, or they have PGs, or anything with guard power they've been saving just for this occasion. But yeah, we run 4 of these. Alright. So right here. Now let's get to the next grade 4s. We run 4 Waving Deleter Gradle. We pulled that's right, Delete Rare, and then SVR, and then 2 VRs. This one I got from our premium shop challenge. Got it for 4th place with golds. Pretty excited to get my 4th one. I was only using 3, but the 4th one just made it that much better. Alright, let's get... And if you want to see this, yeah, look at that. It's just beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. Oh, look at that glare. Okay. Yeah, it changes colors. But yeah, let's get into this video. Alright, your opponent, his first skill is when your opponent's rear guards can't move to other rear guards. So, if you attack their front row and they're trying to move their boosters into the front row to attack, or into a force marker, they can't do it, which is pretty good, which is pretty awesome. And it's good against Aquaforce, that they have units that swap positions. They can't do that. And it's good against that Murakumo grade 1, where you counterblast once, move it to a rear guard circle, so it stops that, which is awesome. And his second skill is when placed, counterblast 1, soul blast 1, choose one of your opponent's rear guard, bind it face down. Yeah, it's pretty good. Binds a card for your opponent's rear guard. And his second skill is when your opponent's delete your opponent's Vanguard and this unit gets critical. So it puts a lot of pressure. If you're not facing a protect clan, this card is pretty much your winning condition right here. Or him. Depends on the matchup, really. And I gotta say, this card is beautiful too. The SVR, amazing. Hope, faith, friendship. All you have will be not. Gotta say, this rarity, both these rarities are amazing. Alright, let's get into the other grade 2s. We run 4 of Swift Deletor Gali. His skill is great, amazing grade 2. I run 4 of, and here's why. When placed, if you have more rear guards than your opponent, this unit gets +4. It's on an place skill, which kind of sucks, but his second skill makes up for him being an on place skill. Is when an attack hits a vanguard, Soul Blast 1, choose one of your opponent's rear guard, bind it face down. If you cannot bind a card, a rear guard, draw a card. So it's pretty much a Berserk Dragon instead of a Counterblast. It's a Soul Blast, which is amazing. And I gotta say, this is better than Berserk Dragon because it's on Vanguard and Rear Guard. So that's gonna be pretty nice. And having 3 on field for a rush turn, whew, your opponent gonna be guarding for a lot. Alright. Now for our next grade 2s, we run 3 Hailing Deletor Alba. Only run 3. I wanted to run 4 just so I can use his effect for spamming on the field. You know, guarding him early, have a card in my hand just to call his other twin. But I find 3 is good enough because the grade 2 lineup is a real tight fit. Alright, let's go into the skill. During the battle, it attacked a Vanguard. If Hailing Deletor Arrow is on your rear, this unit gets +4, which is pretty good. And drop zone, if Arrow was on place, his counterpart, the other part of him, is placed on rear, Soul Blast 1 and call him from your drop zone. So it's pretty good to help you call your field early game, just in case if you guarded him early too. And here's his counterpart. And his skill is when it attacks hits a Vanguard, if you have Alba on your rear, Counterblast 1, choose one of your opponent's rear guard and bind it face down. It's pretty good. Almost all these effects, grade 2s are like on hits and grade 3s, which is weird. But it pressures your opponent to guard or just take it, really. And his skill is, if this card's in your drop zone and Alba was placed on the field, Counterblast 1 and call this to rear. So that's a Soul Blast and this is a Counterblast. Alright, let's get into our last grade 2s. We run 2 Lie Down Deletor Given. And his skill is, at the end of the battle attack, if your opponent's Vanguard is deleted, put a total of 6 cards from your hand and rear guard in your drop zone. Stand your Vanguard and it gets -1 drive check. This card is good. You don't want to use it. This is such a situational card that if you don't use it correctly, where it can kill your opponent, then you're really minusing a lot of cards from your hand. But unless you hit triggers like a god with your draw triggers and saved up so much where dropping 6 is not going to hurt you, then gotta say your opponent's going to be expecting you to guard next turn. Alright, let's get into the grade 1s. We got Opener of the Dark Gates. We run 4. And her skill is, when placed, your opponent has 2 or less rear guards. Soul Blast 1, look at the top 2 cards of your deck. Call up to 1, grade less than equal or less than to your opponent's Vanguard. From among them, call it to rear and put the remaining cards you looked at the bottom of the deck in any order. So this is good to fill out your field real fast. If your opponent's been smart, he'll try to spam a whole field, or you know, if he went first and he's at grade 2, and you know, pretty much your opponent has to be smart when he plays against this deck, so this card doesn't go off early game. All right, going to the next grade 1s. We run 4 Ill Fate Deletor Drone. His skill is, when your opponent's Vanguard is deleted, put this unit into your soul, choose one of your opponent's rear guards, and bind it face down. If you have no face-up cards in your damage zone, countercharge. Real good. If you're stuck on Waving Deletor, this card is going to help you to countercharge, so you can continue using his skill. Or, you know, if you have no more counter blast and your opponent's Vanguard is deleted and you want to use Arrow skill to come from your drop zone, you can put in Soul, counter blast 1, flip that card face back down, and then call him to rear guard. Just for that extra attack, or later for that defense if you need it. Alright, let's get into the second to last grade ones. And we got the... almost read his text for his name, but his name is Fragment Deletor Gyun. At the end of the battle, it will attack a Vanguard. Retire this unit and discard a card from your hand. Draw a card, choose one of your opponent's grade 1 or less rear guards, and bind it face down. This card's real good with the gate card. So, you know, if your opponent has three rear guards, you know, delete one of them and have this one saved for next turn or whatever you need to do to set up. Real good card, and it's a good filter card to get to your main pieces if you're looking for any. And for our last grade ones, we run 2 Manipulator of Gravity Fields. And we run 2 of him. And his skill is an act. If your opponent has 2 or less rear guards, put this unit into your soul, and 3 of your units gets +4 until the end of turn. This is good to fill up your soul because you do soul blast quite a bit if your opponent's been letting your rear guards and vanguards hit, or you know you've been using your gates. You pretty much waste a lot of soul early on, and to fuel it up, you pretty much want to have this card in your deck just so you can have more resource to use more effects of your units that need to be activated. So run 2 of him, not bad. It's a real good card. Might switch it up. I'm not quite sure. This lineup has been working fine, but if you guys find anything different, if you guys didn't like the lineup, you can always change it. You know, I'm pretty sure all y'all just using this as a reference or just want to see how it is, but this is how I like my build. This is what I've been going for, and it's been working pretty good for me. But again, this is my opinion. It might not work for you, and you can all use this for a reference check. Alright, let's get to the grade zeros. We run the trial deck Sprout Deletor Lucci, and it's a basic grade 0. When wrote upon, draw a card. I want to use Draco Kid because this card gets me confused with this card. Because when I shuffle in my deck or my deck gets all mixed up, these guys get me confused, thinking this is my grade 1, my grade 0. Put it on field, and when I flip it, I'm like, oh snap, I'm already at grade 1. And I just look at my opponent, well, I'm sorry, but you know, this deck superior calls. This deck lets me allows me to get to grade 1. But usually it doesn't fly because my opponent tells me to go look for it, and I tell them, if you can find it, I will put it on the field. Usually they don't after the 3rd time they look through the deck, which is funny. But enough of that little rambling. Let's get into the rest of the deck profile. We run 4 healers. We did not pull any of the triggers from the trial deck, just a grade 3 that you get from the trial deck as your backup grade 3 for your waving. But that's what the way the cookie crumbles, I guess. And we run 6 crits. And we run 6 draws. 4 draw PGs and then 2 of the trial deck PGs. Because you want to draw, you really do, for Given. Because he's going to make you discard a bunch, and if you hit all your draw triggers at the perfect time when you need it, Given is not going to punish you for like, you know, dropping 6 cards. And this deck is real fun. Delaying your opponent's Vanguard, it's super fun. Against Protect, I know Force, you know, loses to Protect because of the PGs. But I haven't been playing against Protect. I've been playing against Excel, other Forest clans, just to see how this deck works. And I gotta say, this deck is pretty good, pretty fun. My friend, I let my friend borrow this during one of our tournaments. He beat me against Murakuma. I was using Murakuma, but I shouldn't have lost because we went into time to turns, and I wasn't paying attention, and I guess it was his last turn. He was turn 3, and I took 1 damage and put me up to 5. And he won because I took the damage. If I didn't, it would have been first blood, and you know, I would have killed him because I had a full field. I was gonna rush him, and he had no cards left in his hand. But other than that, this is the deck profile of Link Joker Deletor. Oh, it's not waving. I meant docking. Yeah, some of these cards work with docking, like this card. When I said waving, I meant docking. My bad, guys. You probably got all confused. I'm like, what do you mean it works? Well, I guess this, this card does work with waving. If you counterblast and soul blast and that was your last counterblast, yeah, it pretty much works. But that grade 1 works for both to, help you set up next turn if your opponent's denying you from counterblast. But other than that, is Vanguard Badlands, and if you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. If you like the video, go ahead. Don't be afraid to hit that like button. And comment down below if you're new to the channel. Let me know, did you like the deck profile? Was it a good reference? Was it not your build, or would you want me to switch anything? I like to hear what your deck builds are. On that, if you find this helpful, go ahead and share it. Help your friends have a good reference. Let them check this video out. On that, this is Vanguard Badlands signing out. Peace.